is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Roll the Dice Fantasy Podcast. We hope you're all doing well. We chug along week by week. Fantasy playoffs are getting closer. I know our league is tight. I'm sure a lot of leagues are tight at this point in the year.
Yeah, I mean, even my other league that I'm in, it's pretty tight. The one division is just like 4 and 5. Everybody's the same.
It's a clusterfuck. Yeah.
5, 5 and 4.
But we're just making do, rolling with the punches. That's all. That's pretty much all fantasy is about. So we're just gonna roll through the week 10 games quick. Give our predictions as usual. Players that we think can boom, bust, whatnot, things like that. So we'll just breeze through tonight's game because this game will be over by the time you guys see this. We got a little AFC South battle between the Colts and the Titans. This one could really go either way, I think. This is a good matchup.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a test for Tennessee, especially. The Colts have looked pretty good as of late, so especially with their defense starting to shape up now, a lot more guys are back. It's going to be a good matchup for Tannehill and the Titans.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, the Colts really having a great year. Large part due to their defense. They're giving up only 83.6 rushing yards a game to go along with 223 passing yards per game. They come in as I think a top 3 overall defense, I would assume. So Derrick Henry could find the sledding a little tough tonight, but I think he's good enough where he can battle through it and deliver a decent performance.
Yeah, I think this game really comes down to how Indianapolis, their defense performs, because I don't really see a lot of offensive production. I'm not really high on Phillip Rivers at all, especially with the weapons that he has. He just doesn't really have that guy that he could really rely on. And, he's getting old. And Tannehill has looked good as of late. And, Derrick Henry is the rushing leader in the league right now.
I think it's either him or Cook.
Yeah, so
it's got to be either him or Cook, I would assume.
I think there's going to be a lot of weight on Indianapolis defense's shoulders. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But I think Derrick Henry's going to have a bounce back game here. Try to open up the throwing game a little bit. A.J. Brown has looked really good as of late.
He's been really solid.
I
would expect that to continue. Yeah. So I mean, big receiver, big target. He makes insane contested. He's one of the better contested catchers in the league. A little note here for the Colts. Jack Doyle is ruled out, and then Mo Alley Cox is questionable, so they could be down both of their tight ends for this one, which would make things a little more tough. You would think they'd rely on the run with Wilkins, Taylor, and you got Hines in the passing game as well. So I assume they'll take that route.
Yeah, I mean the fact that people aren't gonna hear what we're saying until after it happens doesn't really matter. So I'm really focused on trying to make some money out here tonight.
Yeah, man. Same game parlays, baby.
And I think it's gonna be a good game. I think it's gonna be probably one of the better Thursday night games that we have. So
yeah, I remember I saw this earlier in the week. I was like, oh, Colts Titans. It's actually a good Thursday night matchup, which is surprising.
For sure.
But I think the Titans pull it out. I think they defeat the Colts tonight.
Yeah, especially with Vegas giving them 1, I'd have to take the Titans.
Yeah, they're on the money line too. They're like plus 100 or plus 110 at home. Yeah. I was like, I'll take it. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Absolutely.
All right, then moving on to Sunday. Starting with the 1 o'clocks. Who are buys this week? Falcons, Cowboys, Chiefs, and Jets all on buys. First of the 1 o'clock games is the Texans and the Browns from Cleveland. There is rain in the forecast there. Could be Chubb's return game. I know he's been practicing this week. He's been out for a few weeks now. So that'll be a big boost to Cleveland's offense. Obviously, I'm sure they'll go back to the 1-2 punch with him and Hunt. I would assume Hunt falls back into the more change of pace role again with Chubb back there.
I mean, I guess it's going to be, test it out, test the waters early, see how Chubb's looking. But when those two are on their game, especially how Hunt has looked lately, you think that they're going to excel now. So if he's looking good, it could be a big game for him. It's going to be a big comeback game. So
yeah, for sure. And I posted my rankings today. I have Chubb as the 5th ranked running back, and then I have Hunt as the 11th ranked running back. So I have them both ranked pretty high, just because the way they deploy them. They kind of split. They both have their opportunities. So, and then Watson, on the Texan side, he's been balling out. Gets a pretty soft. I mean, the Cleveland front's pretty good, pretty scary, but behind them, it's really nothing to be afraid of. So I would assume Watson has a big game here.
No, I mean, once again, it's one of those games where I think the Texans are a good enough team to play Cleveland tough. I mean, Cleveland, they've had a really good year so far, but they still have a lot to prove. So, this could be a really big win for the Texans if they're able to figure some stuff out. They looked really good last week. Watson was hitting everybody. Fuller, Randall Cobb, Brandon Cooks. Their receiving core is looking really good. So, it's really going to put some pressure on Cleveland's defense, and their secondary isn't something that's I think confident right
scary.
now.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
you could see Watson just balling out. He's gonna be consistent, and he's gonna just dice them through the air. So,
yeah, for sure.
Especially with David Johnson out, I think, because he has a concussion.
Concussion protocol. Yep. So Duke Johnson would assume backfield duties for Houston. I have Watson ranked 3rd this week. I have Fuller ranked 8th among wide receivers. So I think the usual suspects for Houston. They should go out and do their thing. On the Cleveland side of things, Jarvis Landry, who was after the Odell injury, a lot of people, all eyes on him as he assumes wide receiver 1 duties. He saw 11 targets in their last game against Las Vegas. There was a lot of wind in that game, so a lot of the pass catchers were kind of affected by that. I mean, I could see him having a nice game here. Houston's not a tough matchup by any means, so.
Yeah, I mean, Houston, they haven't proven themselves. And then with the whole thing with Landry is, I think, my nickname is for him, is Stonehands.
Mm-hmm.
If he tends to catch the hard ones and miss the easy ones, but I think this could be, one of those high performance games from him, especially because it might be a battle through the air. Baker off the COVID-19 list. He wants to start getting some good reps in when playoffs are approaching. So you would think that Landry would have a big game here. And then if the running game can open up the passing game for Baker, then more power to him. Throw it to Landry all night long.
Yeah, no doubt. And you got Rashard Higgins there. I think Austin Hooper's due back this week, so that's another weapon coming back for Baker.
Yeah.
This is tough to call, man. Where are the lines at? I see Cleveland -3, over under 49.
Yeah, I see Cleveland -3.5 over 48.5, so pretty similar.
Oh, okay. Yeah. A lot of people are going with Cleveland. Cleveland spread, that's the consensus pick. I'm going to take the Texans here. I'm going to take Texans money line. I think they go out on the road. I think they get it done. They grind it out.
I have to agree. I think Watson is just a stud, and I think they're starting to figure some stuff out. It hurts that they don't have David Johnson, but I think Duke Johnson fills that role pretty well. So I could see them pulling away a sneaky dub. Maybe it might come down to 1 possession, 3 points, something like that. So
yeah,
I like Texans.
Should be a close one. Same game parlay on Sunday, maybe. Remains to be seen.
Potentially, yeah, potentially.
All right, moving on. Up in Detroit, the Washington football team coming off. They came off their bye already. Playing Detroit. Galladay hasn't practiced this week, so he could be out again for the Lions. So Amendola, he saw a nice game with Galladay out. Marvin Jones kind of disappointed. It's maybe a little bounce back game from him. But this is a tough game to call.
This is going to be very interesting. The Lions just haven't looked good as of late. I thought they were going to have a better year. It's just one of those weird games. I've been riding high on the Lions for a while, but they just continue to disappoint. Matt Stafford, just, average year from him, throwing maybe a touchdown a game. He hasn't had Galladay, so that could be an issue. But
Yeah.
um, I do like. I don't know. It might be the coaching. I really don't know if Matt Patricia knows what he's doing right now. We said in the past like he was handing the ball off to AP, the ball more off to AP than DeAndre Swift, which was kind of a shock, but that turned around last week. So you could see a big game out of Swift. Is Swift hurt?
No, he
He's
should be playing.
okay.
Um,
So you could see a big game out of Swift if they start getting the running game involved, but it's just like two incredibly average teams going at it.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean that's good. I mean, the Lions are kind of deploying a three running back committee right now. With who's that other guy? It's AP Swift. Oh well, on Johnson.
Yeah.
But Swift is still leading the touches there, so I would expect that to continue. I mean, he's obviously the most talented back out of that backfield. Um, Terry McLaurin could have a really nice game again. He enjoyed a great one last week against the Giants, and he went 7 for 115 and a touchdown last week. I could definitely see him eclipsing 100 yards again here.
Oh, definitely.
Usual suspect. Antonio Gibson, he's been practicing this week. I
He
know he
was
was dealing with
he was dealing with a shoulder issue, but he
yeah
practiced.
today, I think.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
practiced today.
so he should be good to go for the weekend. Um, he's a low end RB2, I think, maybe high end
Yeah, I mean, even last week it
RB3.
was weird. They were favoring
McKissick out of for the
yeah,
receiving. Yeah,
and Gibson is a really good receiving back, so I was really surprised there. So you want to see him get back involved in the receiving game. Kyle Allen out for the season now, so that could have had an effect on it. So we'll see. But
yeah. I mean, I would assume. Yeah, I think they're gonna run with Alex Smith, right? They're not gonna go back to
yeah,
Haskins.
no.
So yeah, I mean, like you said, it's a toss up. It's just one of those games. Um, I'm gonna take Detroit in this one.
I think that Alex Smith looked really good last week, and I think McLaurin kind of keeps it going. So I'm gonna have to go with the Redskins. They're coming off a tough loss in against the Giants.
Yeah, they lost by a field goal.
Yeah, so I think this is going to be like one of those same type of games, one of those like tough battles, two really average teams. But I think Washington pulls away with a dub. Detroit just hasn't really. I thought they were going to have a better year. They just haven't really shown me anything. So I'm going to go with Washington here. Money line.
Alrighty. That's that. Moving on. Green Bay. They're hosting the Jaguars. Man, the Jaguars they're starting Lutton now, the rookie quarterback. Minshew's been hurt, hasn't performed well. Lutton came in. We mentioned it on the recap last week. He stepped in. He looked pretty good.
Yeah.
From the eye test, he connected with Chark, which was great to see. Chark almost had 150 yards receiving. I would expect him to look his way here. I know it's a tougher matchup. I think Green Bay they're fifth against wide receivers in fantasy. So they could find it a little rough. I think they lean on James Robinson a lot here. Another like 20 to 25 carries out of the backfield. And then on the Packers side, I mean, you got Devontae Adams balling out. That's all you really need.
I mean, when I look at this matchup, you think that Green Bay is just going to come in and absolutely pound Jacksonville to the ground in every aspect, whether it's running it with Aaron Jones or just dishing it out to Devontae. But the Packers have picked it up a little bit, but they tend to play down to their competition. I feel like
Could be a trap game, yeah.
I think they still get the win, obviously, because Jacksonville's still really hurting. I mean, Lutton looked really good. It could have been one of those, like what you like to say, caught lightning in a bottle, finding Chark, throwing deep bombs. They looked really good last week. But I still think Green Bay kind of just gets it done. They just pound the ball with Aaron Jones, give him his touches, get his rhythm back. It's his second game back off his injury or whatever was wrong with him.
His calf, yeah.
And Devontae Adams is just going to keep balling out, and the offense is just super high powered with Rodgers in the backfield. So
the potential return of Alan Lazard too this week. He was close for their Thursday night game against San Fran. He ended up not playing, so he could be activated. I think the Packers have until next week though to activate him, so we'll see what they do. I know he's been at practice though. He's recovering pretty good from his core muscle surgery. But yeah, I mean the Jags, they're allowing 284 passing yards a game, so that plays right into the hand of the Packers and what they like to do. Obviously, they love to throw the ball. They love to spread it vertically, get it downfield. Yeah, Aaron Jones should resume to his normal workload. They had him limited a little bit coming off his injury. But what?
They say. I mean,
yeah, they're like, he's gonna be limited. Then he gets the first 10 touches anyway. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Packers here easy. Maybe tease him at like an 8.5.
Yeah, I would say spread. It's not worth betting that money line. I'd probably take an alternate spread. Maybe that 6.5, 7 number. Yeah. 13.5 is a lot. 14, whatever you're seeing. But yeah, I'd have to agree.
Yeah, I see 13.5. Over under's 50. Maybe take the over. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if Lutton's throwing the ball well, you could see a high scoring game here. So
a little teaser over. All right, moving on. Another NFC East matchup. The Philadelphia Eagles going to MetLife to play the Giants. Giants obviously coming off that win against the Jags. Good performance. Their defense, I think, is like severely underrated. I think they've performed well above their expectations. It's just obviously their offense, especially without Saquon, they tend to sputter, and Jones's like indecisiveness and poor decision making can let him down. But then he also shows his flashes and he looks great. I think Miles Sanders is due back for this game, which is huge for Philly. They get their workhorse back. I would immediately slide him into like high end RB2, low end RB1 territory, just because of his opportunity and his work that he gets. So
yeah, and the way that Wentz has looked as of late, he just does not look like he belongs out there. To be honest, I still can't believe they haven't gave Hurts a look. I think they might have given him one little look, but the guy's a walking interception artist. So they might rely heavy on the running game. So I think Sanders could be a high RB2 play this week. Especially. The Giants defense, don't get me wrong, really good. I have them. I ride them a lot.
Yeah, but, I mean,
this could be a sellout game for Sanders for sure.
Yeah. Travis Fulgham, great surprise for Philly with all the injuries to their receivers. Jeffrey Jackson went down. They needed guys to step up. Fulgham's one of those guys. Honestly, and you could probably ride him through the end of the year. Like he'd be like one of those waiver pickups where he just kind of like dies off. But I mean, it's like him and Claypool. Like they're the same type of situation where they're going to keep producing, which is huge, obviously, for both fantasy and for the team. So, but yeah, I mean, once he kind of falls, under the same kind of like danger that Jones gets into, like they could both be like indecisive and like look like out of place, especially once after his injury in 2017. He hasn't really been the same since then. So Foles comes in.
The thing with Wentz, I feel like I remember seeing this somewhere. I think Goddard might have potential.
Yeah, I remember seeing something like that too.
And Hurts does rely heavily on his tight ends. I think that's a big position in the Eagles offense. So that's when
Goddard he came back against Dallas, and then he's healthy. So that's huge for Wentz.
That helps Wentz's case. He still is, I think he's a walking interception, but when he needs to get a completion, he tends to favor the tight end slot. But Fulgham has looked really nice this year, so kudos to him. And then on the opposite side of the ball, I think as of late, Gallman has looked really good. He's got in the end zone the past couple games. He's able to open up the receiving game a little bit for Daniel Jones, take a little pressure off him. They have pretty much the receiving core backs. I see Shepard's questionable.
Sterling Shepard.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
Darius Slayton, really good receiver. Evan Ingram, he's starting to show out a little bit more. He's athletic, he's fast. We've talked about this in the past. He can run jet sweeps for him. He does all this stuff. So
Yep.
the Giants, they're not having that good of a year, but they actually have a decent team if they're all healthy. And Daniel Jones isn't being a moron, making stupid decisions and not falling on his face when he's running 21 miles per hour. But in the grand scheme of things, I think it just goes the Eagles' way. It's one of those matchups that Philadelphia and New York always wait for every year. It's always going to be a battle, but I just really don't have any faith in Giants. I'd have to go with Eagles to cover 3.5 here.
Oh, interesting. I was going to say Eagles money line. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I think they go in, they get the win.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, I like their coaching a little better. I like Doug Peterson. And they tend to win those close games too. Like they just find ways to win.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be the case in that one.
Yeah, and I still think Sanders is a big catalyst for this game as well.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, moving on. NFC South battle. Bucks and the Panthers. The Bucks are coming off that thrashing that they took by the Saints on Sunday night, which was ridiculous. So I mean, if you're looking at the Bucks, I mean, you're looking at everyone on the offensive side of the ball to have a bounce back game because they couldn't get anything going.
I'm telling you right now, this is probably the biggest sleeping game of the week because how bad the Buccaneers played and how good the Panthers played last week.
Yeah. I mean, it's not going to be easy for the Bucks. I mean,
this is a game that Carolina should have had circled already, but after last week, you circle this bitch even more and you say, Teddy, I need this. I need the same energy from you because this is a make or break game for the Bucks. I think make or break because
yeah. I mean, if
I was like, damn,
off,
Bucks might be the best team in the league. I was one of those people
knocked off the pedestal.
But I did say, watch out for the Saints because the Saints are a very good team.
I think people forgot about the Saints too.
It looked like the Bucks hit their stride, but this is sketchy for them. The Panthers looked really good. They were getting everybody involved last week. Teddy Bridgewater went head to head with Pat Mahomes
Yeah, it was a great game.
It was a shootout, a straight shootout. They were throwing the ball everywhere.
Yeah,
it was a fun game to watch. So this is going to be a sketchy game for Tampa Bay, and it's definitely one to keep an eye on over the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be a walk in the park, and I think this is going to be I think it's going to be a really good game. But yeah, I mean, the Bucks are coming off a blowout loss when they thought they were, the hottest team, best team in the NFC. And then, I mean, if they come out here and if they lose to Carolina, a lot of people are going to be asking questions. Brady's going to be in the spotlight. People are going to be looking directly at him. So I think it's pertinent for the Bucks, for everyone to just, bounce back, get right. But we'll see. I mean, the Panthers don't have McCaffrey again. He hurt his shoulder pretty bad. He's out, so Mike Davis takes over again. Robbie Anderson enjoying a nice year. I would lock him in as a high-end wide receiver 2 this week. DJ Moore, I don't think did much in that game. No, he had 2 for 18. A little bounce back maybe for him here as well.
There was another receiver, I keep forgetting his name, that had a really good game as well for the Panthers.
Samuel?
Yeah.
Curtis? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's been a surprise. I think he has over 20 fantasy points in the last 3 games. So I mean, fire him up, wide receiver 2, high-end wide receiver 3 at the least.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that the Bucks are really lucky is that McCaffrey got hurt late last game. He's kind of their engine when it came to that game. Probably was their engine last week, but don't take any credit away from Mike Davis. I think he's a great running back. It's tough to fill those shoes, and I think he did a pretty good job the first couple of weeks. So they have a lot of confidence. So I'm not really too worried about Mike Davis coming in and doing work against the Bucs anyway. So
yeah. But yeah, I mean, if like you said, if Carolina, if they come out with that same energy that they had against KC, Tampa could find themselves in trouble again. But I would take Tampa money line here. I think they're all pissed off.
I think it's gonna be a very, very good game. I'd have to say I like Tampa Bay as well. You would think Antonio Brown starts figuring out the playbook. Brady starts figuring out his passing a little better. He just looked god awful last week. I think maybe Lattimore got to Mike Evans' head. Mike Evans due for a bounce back game. Chris Godwin, hopefully he's feeling better. So there's some issues within the Tampa Bay offense, but they're a good team. You expect them to win this game, but don't sleep on the Panthers.
It's not guaranteed. Yeah, that's for sure.
I'd just play it safe. Tampa Bay money line.
All right, moving on to the late window, 4:05. Broncos and the Raiders in Las Vegas. Raiders coming off that thrilling win over the Chargers. Last second, Herbert got his heart broken again. We keep saying it. Vegas is, the Raiders are just one of those tough teams. They're tough to play. And they stay in games.
They play that hard-nosed ball,
I mean, they're 5-3 in the AFC West. Could be looking at a potential playoff team in the Raiders. Who knows?
Gruden's out here preaching it ain't over till it's over.
I love Gruden, man.
I don't even think I have to talk about how I feel about this matchup. We say it every week. Denver Broncos, blah blah blah.
Drew Lock.
Drew Lock, my favorite player in the NFL. But I really like how the Raiders have looked. I think it was actually surprising that it was that close of a game with the Chargers. Don't get me wrong, the Chargers have looked really good. I'm really high on Justin Herbert.
Yeah, me as well.
He's had a really good year. But I really like this Raiders team. Derek Carr has looked good in the pocket. He's starting to find Nelson Aguilar a lot more often. Josh Jacobs came back last week, 2 weeks ago.
I think he's been back for a few weeks. Yeah, he's been back for 3 weeks now.
He looked all right.
He had 14 for 65 and a tutty against the Chargers. So
their defense is just going to stick it to you all night. They're going to blitz. They're going to do whatever they have to do. They're going to figure it out. So I think they keep it rolling. I think they're a really good team, and it's time to start burying teams and putting them away. Stop with this BS close game every week. I think they're good enough to win by at least 10 here. The spread's 4.5.
Damn,
that's how I feel about Drew Lock and
and I was gonna like watching when I see the Raiders play. They can throw. They could spread the ball vertically. Like they have those weapons and Ruggs, Aguilar.
Is Renfro on the Raiders?
Renfro, yeah. Renfro he's a vertical threat as well. And then you got Waller just dominating the slot, dominating the red zone.
Forgot. Yeah.
It's a healthy and balanced offense, and then you throw in Jacobs, let him tote the rock. They could be a tough team to stop. And I'm going to take the Raiders in this one as well.
Yeah, and then on the other side of the ball, Drew Lock. All right, he's a decent quarterback. Get Jerry Jeudy more involved. The kid's got potential. They target him so much. He's just got to start catching the ball a little bit more. It could be shitty throws by Drew Lock. I'm not gonna put that. That could be a thing. Jerry Jeudy's starting to come along. I've always held him to on a pedestal in the podcast. I think Jerry Jeudy's a very good receiver. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, hopefully Drew Lock doesn't watch this podcast because
He
He might
might.
have a bone. He
Yeah,
might have a
yeah. He
bone to
might.
pick with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, speaking of Judy, he had a great. I mean, his breakout game came last week against Atlanta, 7 for 125 and a tutty, 25 fantasy points. So maybe that gives him some confidence. If Locke can find him, obviously the potential's there, the talent's there. Um, so it's interesting.
I could also see this just being a straight ground and pound game from both sides. Getting
Yeah,
the
I think
ultimate and
it's gonna be
Philip.
pretty close. I think.
Yeah, I could see a lot of running involved in this game,
Same here, but
but I would have to take spread.
Raiders, baby.
Raiders spread.
Go Raiders. All right, next up, speaking of Justin Herbert, the Chargers going down to Miami to play the Dolphins. Um, if you watch the recap podcast, we were talking up the Dolphins heavy. They're playing some really good football. And they're making some noise in the AFC East. Tua's hitting his stride now. He had a pretty good game
The thing is,
last week.
Miami these really good, what I think are really good matchups. I mean, he had Kyler last week,
Oh,
bless you.
excuse me.
Kyler last week, Herbert this week. The Chargers trying to just hold one out one time.
I know they can't close, man.
This will be a really good test because of how good Miami's defenses looked for Justin Herbert. Because Miami's defense has straight dominated the past couple of weeks, I feel like. So this is a
Yeah,
really
that
good test
they're
for
playing
Herbert.
with swagger too. Like
Yeah,
they're
they
going
know.
out there
No,
and
they
like
know it.
they know, yeah.
They 100% know it.
I mean, you could argue that coming out of the Chargers bye in Week 6, they had Jacksonville, Denver, and then Vegas. You could argue that this is Herbert's. This is going to be one of his tougher matchups for the year. So it's going to be interesting to see how they come out and see how they try and attack this Dolphins defense. Maybe deploy Kelly and Justin Jackson. Try and get them
Justin
more involved.
Jackson today apparently he's questionable. There was a
Oh, is
report.
he?
So but it's that backfield's so weird. But you think Kelly, Pope, if Jackson's healthy, you really don't know what
Yeah.
they're going to do with that backfield. But I agree. They could fire up the running game a little bit. So
Keenan Allen had a great game against Vegas, 9-103 touchdown. Fire him up, wide receiver 1 this week, despite the tough matchup. Mike Williams, he's back in fantasy relevance again. Start him, maybe like low end wide receiver 2.
yeah, it could be a flex. It's
High-end
just
wide
once
receiver
again,
3
is
flex.
is he going to
Yeah.
be consistent? I mean, he showed a little bit more consistency last week. He didn't get in the end zone. He still put up numbers. So Herbert likes him. So you can fire him up flex low wide receiver 2.
And then for the Dolphins with Gaskin out, Jordan Howard's taking over backfield duties. I don't think like there's much of an opportunity or like enough talent there to warrant like a fantasy start. Maybe if you're like a desperate flex play.
I just don't know enough about. This is my thing. Like they could be a great. It's exactly the situation in Dallas. You could be a great running back, but you need an offensive line, and I really don't know anything about Miami's offensive line.
Me neither, really.
So I think Howard is a good running back.
Oh yeah, me too.
But it really comes down to, is he going to hit holes? Are there going to be holes for him? And how that offensive line performs.
Yeah, it's more like situation based.
Is Joey Bosa showing up to play? He's questionable, so that's a big question mark. But this is going to be a very good matchup, I think.
Yeah. I think Devontae Parker, there's potential there for him to enjoy a nice day. And it's all going to fall on Tua. I think you're going to see Tua making some plays in this one. He's going to have to if they're going to get the win. But I mean, with their defense playing so well, it really takes the pressure off him. So I'm sure he's pretty laid back right now, knowing that they're playing well on all sides of the ball.
Absolutely.
I'm going to take Miami in this one. I'm going to take I would take that -1.5. I would take that spread.
I can't take Miami, being an AFC North fan, Patriot fan, and having Keenan Allen on my team, and I really like Justin Herbert. I think Miami's look good. They obviously, it's not even, it's tough because Miami's look so good and like they deserve it. They like in my heart, I know they deserve, but I still feel like it's Miami, you know? It's like
Keep sleeping.
we're talking about the Miami Dolphins.
This is a different Miami Dolphins team, man.
But I just
We're on a
like,
4-game
I
winning
like
streak.
the Chargers a lot. I think they just
I
have to.
know, I do too. But I just think their inability to finish games, and they're still young. Um, I don't think it really does them any favors. So
I don't know. I'm gonna take Chargers. We'll see. You
I'm
know,
riding Miami, man.
we'll come back to this in the next
Yeah,
podcast.
that's what the recap's for.
Yep.
I'm riding Miami, man. All right, next one. This is a good matchup. Josh Allen and the Bills facing off against Kyler Murray and the Cardinals from Arizona. As we said, Kyler was in that battle with the Dolphins. They ended up losing. A lot of weapons in this game. I guess the biggest focus here, is D Hop. He's been quiet the past couple weeks. Um, and he doesn't get any easier when you're going up against Buffalo. And their
This is gonna
defense, so.
be one of those aired out. Who has it? Christian Kirk looks really good as of late. You want to see D Hop obviously get more involved. Kyler Murray's almost unstoppable when he's rolling out of the pocket, scrambling.
He's a baller, yeah.
He's get to pick up yards anyway he does it. So
That's gonna be the thing. If Buffalo can't contain Kyler, then that's gonna be wraps.
well, I don't think Miami did contain him pretty well last week, but I don't think they contained him that well. They got it done. It's going to be, if they can't contain him that well, it's going to be a close game.
And Josh Allen. I've always been hot. I'm a Josh Allen fan, but he could be inconsistent at times. So if he doesn't show up, the Bills could have a rough time in this one. But still, he's a QB1 for me. He's a solid start, obviously.
You have to. If he's
Stephon Diggs having a crazy year and crazy fantasy year as well. One of the better wide receivers in fantasy football. Fire him up with confidence. I know the Bills running back situation is kind of fucked up too. You got Singletary there, you got Moss, you have. Are they running 3 or is it just Singletary and Moss?
Is McKenzie a receiver? Or is he?
He's a receiver. I think. I don't know. Either way, it's fucked up. If you're gonna, I think Zach Moss is the play over Singletary. If it was me, I'm higher on Moss than I am on Singletary. So yeah,
it's every time I think I have a situation figured out, the next week they play
a red just tournament. Yeah, that's the nature of the game, man, and fantasy.
I think Moss looks really good running the ball. Singletary's a great back. I think Moss deserves more touches, more looks in the red zone, stuff like that. So you don't really know what you're going to get here, but Buffalo has looked really good. 7-2, obviously. They've proven through their record and how they're playing that they're a very good team. So they have a lot of weapons. Josh Allen can do it all. He can throw the ball, he can run the ball, gets rushing touchdowns. Got a lot of weapons on offense, so it makes out for another really good game, really good Sunday afternoon game.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm gonna ride with the Cardinals in this one. I think they get the win. I think they go to 6-3. I'm taking their money line. That's my pick. You going against me again?
Actually, a lot of people. I like Buffalo. I think they continue what they did last week. And continue to ball out. So I take Buffalo money line.
All right. We'll see.
I like this. We're butting heads a little bit.
Yeah, that's what we need. We can't agree all the time. Moving on to the 425 window, 3 games in there. Niners and Saints from the Superdome in New Orleans. Can't really say much else about the Saints. They played about as close to a perfect game as you could against the Bucks. We saw what their offense is when they're all fully healthy with Thomas, Sanders, Kamara, Cook. There's just so many weapons. Brees spread the ball around to like 12 different receivers against the Bucks. Saints don't really have to use Kamara against the Bucks. He's still, he's top fantasy running back this year, so far. I think they use him. I think they rely on him a little bit more in this one. But it depends on how the game's going too, obviously. But the Niners, they come in, no Kittle, no Garoppolo. Their defense is banged up. It's tough sledding for them too.
Yeah, this is one where you're like, damn, as a 49er, you're like, damn, they just blew out one of the hottest teams in the NFL, and now they're home against us. It's going to be a tough one to really get some excitement around, especially because Saints are pretty much fully healthy now. They're going to look to get Michael Thomas more involved, Kamara, Swiss Army knife Kamara.
Taysom Hill. We saw Taysom Hill have a good game against the Bucks too.
Latavius Murray looked good.
It sucks, man, because ESPN, they changed it to where you could flex Taysom this year.
Yeah.
But there's not enough opportunity there where you would start him. But it's still cool to see him catch a touchdown or run one in. But it doesn't happen that often where you can't he's not consistent enough.
Yeah, you can't actually do it. But he threw the ball last week too, which was the first time in a year. But
yeah.
I think
you can dish it too.
This Niners team is just really hurting. No Debo, no Kittle, no Garoppolo, no Coleman. They don't know what the hell is going on in that backfield. Is it Hasty? Is it McKinnon?
Yeah. Those are the only bright spots really. McKinnon looked great. In the last game, so expect that to continue. He could be an RB2 play, I think.
But then again, it's like, what is Shanahan feeling? Because he feeds the hot hand. So
yeah,
if Hasty's looking good,
McKinnon's the hot hand right now. So
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Biggest thing for Michael Thomas was he avoided any major setbacks. He's been limited so far this week, but I think it's just more precautionary. I expect him to practice in full, and then not carry a designation into the weekend. He got a tough draw with the Bucks. Peyton said they limited his touches a little bit just to get him back in the swing of things, but I think he could profile as a top 5 overall receiver for this week, especially given the matchup. Fingers crossed for you. But, yeah, it's not much else to say. I'm going to take the Saints in this one easy. I know I don't usually bet on my teams, but
yeah.
Well, I'm not going to bet this game anyway, but I think
honestly, I'd probably take them the 10-point spread. I'm going to say money line. I probably would take them the spread, and I'd probably bet the over. I think it's good.
Oh, you think the over hits?
High scoring. High scoring. Saints win it big. Get everybody involved. Just
the Saints. Saints last 5 games, they won so many tight games. They edged out Detroit. They edged out the Chargers in overtime when Badgley missed the game-winning field goal. They edge out the Panthers, edge out the Bears in OT, and then they come out and blow out the Bucks.
Yeah,
so
they were due, and the fact that none of the experts had them is kind of crazy.
Yeah, it is what it is. Some people just don't know football. No. Next up in the 425s, Seahawks and Rams. I feel like this could be a sneaky good game. I know I saw Kupp's banged up this week apparently, but he's expected to play. But the Rams are kind of hit or miss too with their offense. They could be inconsistent.
Yeah.
Some weeks they look great, and then other weeks they just look.
The one week I think Goff had 4 turnovers
against Miami. Yeah, he got bombarded by Miami.
Yeah.
Wilson didn't have a great day in Buffalo last week. Put up garbage points, but I think he had 3 picks. Didn't really take care of the ball well.
Well, that's what happens when you're trying to fight back and you're just airing it out at that point. So it happens, but
yeah, that's true. I know some Lockett owners are probably disappointed. Past 2 weeks, only 4 catches in each. They've been riding DK a lot. I love DK. I'm high on DK. I think Lockett could come back here. He could have a nice game. I think he could have a fairly productive day.
We say it's either the DK show or the Lockett show, whoever Wilson's feeling. It's just a high-powered offense, and especially because still their running back situation is up in the air. Even more reason for Wilson to air it out to one of his top receivers.
Yeah, I mean it's weird because it's never like it's never like both of them go off. It's either like it's like one of them goes off, which kind of sucks, but that's the nature of the game. Darrell Henderson's looked pretty good for the Rams in their backfield. He's a he's a tough runner. The potential return of Carson in this one.
Yeah, I think he's been limited this week.
Yeah, could be huge for the Seahawks. I'll find out more about him later in the week. So it's gonna be interesting.
I mean, right now I still have Dallas in the starting role, but I might flip over if Carson plays to throw Carson in. So we'll see.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind if Carson didn't play. I like the way DJ Dallas runs. He's pretty productive in that offense. So either way, I think Carson's a better play. Obviously, DJ Dallas is just one of those guys. He's just a filler at this point.
Yeah,
it's
just
tough
a handcuff.
to replace. Yeah, it's tough to replace.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna take Seattle in this one. I'm gonna go with Russ and the Seahawks. I think they bounce back.
Yeah,
take their money line.
I mean, the biggest thing is the Seahawks defense. It's just really hit or miss. It's not that typical high octane defense where their secondary's firing away at you. They're blitzing.
It's definitely not.
That's what they're missing this year. But I still like the Seahawks as well. What's the spread? 1.5.
1.5. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean money line spread, whichever.
Rams are favored actually.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I'd probably go money line.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I mean it's not. Yeah, that Seattle defense could be leaky at times. It's obviously not the Legion of Boom anymore when they had all those superstars.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean I still think they pull it out against the Rams. All right, moving on. One more 425 game. The Bengals, Joey Burrow, going into Pitt to play the Steelers.
The old man versus the young gun.
Young buck. Burrow showed a lot of grit. I mean, if you watched him at LSU, he wants to win really bad. He's not afraid to take a hit. He can make plays happen with his feet. His pocket awareness is really good. But going up against Steelers defense, that front seven, could be a little, especially against that Bengals offensive line. It could be rough for him in this one.
Yeah, it's going to be a good test for the rookie. He's tough. He's a tough kid. He's a gamer. We say it every week. The dude is an absolute gamer. Somehow he's making it work with this offense. He looks really good in the pocket. He's able to escape, find his targets. So he's done a really good job this year. But I think this is a really good test for him. And this Bengals team kind of shows them where they need to get to in order to be a playoff contender.
Yeah, I mean, obviously their team, they have to do a lot of growing still. They're still young, but they have a lot of good talent there. Tyler Boyd, he's enjoyed a nice year coming out of the bye. Fire him up as I think a low-end wide receiver 1.
Yep.
Joe Mixon, I don't know what his status is.
Questionable.
He didn't practice today, so I would assume he'd be doubtful for this week. Still Gio Bernard season for the Bengals.
RB2? He looked pretty good the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. I think he's a safe RB2 play. T. Higgins, the rook for the Bengals. He's enjoying a decent year. Oh, really decent year, yeah.
More than
averaging
decent.
Almost 13 points. What?
Better than decent.
I didn't know, man. He's a sleeper.
He is. I mean, it's tough because you got a rookie with rookie there, but he's done well for himself.
For sure. And then on the Steelers side, obviously you got a ton of weapons. Chase Claypool, Juju, Deontay Johnson, James Conner. The usual suspects there. Ben playing on one leg.
Yeah, I mean, Ben doing his
tossing it out,
his backyard football thing, throwing on one leg. a little scare there last week, but he continues targeting Claypool a lot. I think the most. Juju's been picking up those big catches when they need them. Connor, a little disappointing week last week, so you expect a bounce back game from him. But Pitt's looking good. They're undefeated. I don't think they lose that 0 this week, especially against a young Bengals team. So I think this is just going to be one of those games where Ben sets the tone. Maybe the running game sets the tone a little bit. James Conner gets involved early, and then they just start firing away with their weapons out wide. So
Yeah, definitely. I'd agree with you
that's
there.
what I'm seeing.
I'm riding Pitt as well. I don't think they lose to 0. I think they go 9-0, remain undefeated. Sorry, Burrow, but your time will
I think he
come.
has a great game, but Pitt's tough. Pitt's very tough.
Yeah, for sure. And then moving on to Sunday night, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens going up to Foxborough to play Cam Newton and the Patriots. Pats are coming off that thrilling win over the New York Jets, which shouldn't have been thrilling, but it was. But the Pats without Edelman, they just don't really have enough. They don't have a lot of weapons to.
They got nothing. I mean, I will say Harris looks very good.
Harris looks really good. He looks solid. But I mean, other than that, and Keel Harry's also out. You got to feel for Cam. But I mean, I think Cam, he has to come out here and play almost like a perfect game if they're gonna have a shot.
Yeah, it comes down to can Cam throw. I mean, neither quarterback here can really throw the ball, but I think Lamar's a better throwing quarterback than Cam right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Cam has been favoring Jacoby Myers. Apparently, they have a little background history with each other where there's a little chem there. So expect him to be firing his way a lot. If they get the throwing game involved and going at all, but it's going to be fun. You'd think it's going to be one of those games where it's just a lot of rushes, a lot of scrambles from the quarterbacks, especially two quarterbacks that are able to run with their caliber, speed and quickness. So, but the Patriots it's tough to watch a Patriot game and the Patriots barely squeaking out a W against an 0 for Jets team. It's frustrating. I'm sure Cam Newton has high expectations. He's a former MVP, so
yeah.
This is obviously going to be a really big test for New England, but Bill Belichick always knows what to do when it comes to scouting out how to defend certain players. I think he's going to be dialed in on how to contain Lamar. So it could actually be a better game than expected, but you'd have to think Baltimore kind of buries this struggling Patriot team.
Yeah. I mean, all good points. Cam, he took care of the ball well against the Jets, but he never, he didn't throw downfield a lot.
Yeah.
A couple times to Myers, but it was a lot of screen passes, a lot of short passes, get the ball out quick. I think you'll see the same thing here, especially against the Ravens defense. They'll want to feed Harris. Don't let Cam hold the ball too long.
Get the ball out quick. You don't want him sitting in the pocket too long. So
yeah, and I mean, Cam has that ability to leave the pocket, make plays with his feet. So you'd like to see him do that more, obviously, in this matchup as well. On the Ravens side of things, Ingram was limited in practice yesterday, and then he didn't practice today, so he's trending in the wrong direction. So we could see the Edwards and Dobbins show again for Baltimore.
Why not?
Working out well. You got two extremely talented backs. Marquise Brown, bit of a disappointment. Very talented receiver. Like to see him bounce back. And I mean, I think it's gonna fall on Lamar and Cam. Who outperforms who in this one?
Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to is Lamar going to be able to throw the ball? New England's going to be ready. So you hope that their offense has some tricks up their sleeves and is able to get everybody involved. They have a really good running backfield, we just said. Hopefully Brown has a little bit of a bounce back game, but Baltimore has the weapons, and you'd expect them to just, kind of cruise through this one. So we'll see.
Yeah. I'm gonna ride with Baltimore in this one. I don't know, yeah, because they're favored minus 330. It's not really worth to take their money line. I take their spread, maybe like minus like 4.5.
Yeah, I was gonna say alternate
3.5,
spread.
4.5, something. Could
I
be
agree.
a close one, but we'll see. Should be a good Sunday night game though.
Yeah, for sure.
Sit back and relax, watch the game, and then
Well,
Monday night to close
so
out Week 10, the Vikings and the Bears. The Vikings are on a resurgence following the return of Dalvin Cook. He's over 200 scrimmage yards in his last 2 games. Chicago's a bit of a tougher matchup, but I mean, I don't think anyone. It doesn't look like anyone's gonna stop Cook right now.
what are you
He's
saying?
he's kind of just doing what he wants out there.
What are you saying, bro? Chicago is literally. I don't believe in him at all. I can't believe that even 40%. Their ESPN 40% chance that Chicago wins. I mean,
I mean,
it's the Minnesota Cook show.
their defense is respectable. It's respect. I mean, it's
It's
respectable.
respectable, but I mean, the last 2 weeks, Cook touches the ball, he scores, and it's
Yeah, I
professional.
mean,
You
I
figure
think
it
that
out.
continues. And we mentioned too with Cook back, it takes the pressure off Cousins. He doesn't have to air it out as much. He doesn't pressures off him. But I mean, they still have weapons in Thielen and Jefferson. So you'd like to see them get a little more involved. Who knows what Zimmer's got planned, but and Chicago's offense too. I mean, it could be. I mean, it's up there as one of the worst offenses in the NFL. Like just the way they operate, they can't really get anything going. David Montgomery, talented back, just in a shitty situation. So it's tough. I mean, Allen Robinson, again, very talented receiver. Underrated, I think, but he's just he's stuck with Foles. Maybe they go back to Trubisky at some point, but, just things are kind of all over the place for them.
Yeah, I have nothing to add. I think it's just really, really tough situation for Chicago in their offensive game. I don't even know how they have 5 wins, to be honest. I really
Yeah, I
don't.
mean, we were saying when they were 5-2 that they were like I didn't know how they were 5-2.
I don't. And I really don't think that they pick up a win here. I think Dalvin Cook keeps balling out. Kirk Cousins starts throwing the ball a little better. He's got to start hitting his favorite target, Thielen, more and more.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I've said it and I'll keep saying it. This was a Vikings team last year that went into New Orleans for the wild card game. Everyone had New Orleans in that game. They went in, they upset the Saints. And now that they have Cook back, Cook is healthy. I think they could easily, make another playoff run this year. So it's gonna be interesting. I mean, very talented team. I think the Vikings come in on Monday night in Chicago. They easily get the win.
they need the win. They need to go to 4-5. They need it against this team. They need this win, and I take them.
Big divisional game. I think they grind. I think they get it done. I'm gonna take that minus 2.5. I'm gonna take that spread.
Yeah, I mean, I see on DraftKings -3, Pick Centers -2.5. So I agree. Spread easy.
All right, well there you have it. Those are the Week 10 games. Week 10 rankings are live up on the site, rollthedicefantasy.com. It's just a Word document. They have to download it. I did them a different way this week. But no biggie. Got anything you want to add?
No, I mean, I think we're moving in the right direction with things. We're getting a little, thumbnail action.
Little thumbnails. Hope you guys enjoyed the thumbnail.
Marketing. Get the
Shit was
Twitter
fire.
more involved. We're throwing golf stuff out there. Once other sports start up, we're trying to get everything involved. We're having fun with it. Keep tabs on our Twitter. We want to hear from our community. We want to build a community. That's the thing. We really want to build.
We're trying to build. Yeah.
And we want to hear what your thoughts are for fantasy, what you're thinking about picks, what's your stupid same game parlays, what are
crazy
your
parlays, long shots. Yeah, I mean, we want to see everything.
Yeah. We want to tail it.
Yeah. Let's make some money together.
We're stupid.
Might as well.
We're stupid.
Let's make money together.
Absolutely. That's what we're here to do. But if you're enjoying what we're doing, we appreciate the support. So
yeah. I mean, definitely. You said it best. As always, keep tabs on our Twitter. It's at RTD Fantasy. Thank you for watching. We very much appreciate it, and we'll talk to you guys soon.